Hi, everyone, and welcome back for another episode of the Millersberg Construction podcast. I'm your host, Megan, and today I'm joined with our commercial sales manager, Reed. So, Reed is with us. If you want to just tell us a little bit about yourself, maybe how long you've been in the roofing industry.
Sure. My name's Reed Trafton. I'm obviously the commercial sales manager, as Megan said here. I've been in the industry for over a decade, almost 2 decades, actually. I've been in construction, though, for over 30 years. So I've kind
Okay.
of done everything besides exteriors. I'm a millwright. I'm a certified welding educator. I have my CWI, CWSR. I'm certified in precast concrete. So
All the things.
all the things.
That's amazing.
Yeah, thank you.
So our subject today, we're really excited to talk about flat roofing. Flat roofing is a really common trade type, especially in the commercial industry, but it's something that I feel like a lot of people don't know about or they don't think about until it's maybe too late and and there's an
Definitely
issue
is.
and they're like, "Oh, I wish I knew more about this." Can you
Exactly.
just tell us a little bit about flat roofing, types of material used, and just a little background on that trade in and of itself?
Sure. There's all kinds of different flat roofs that you can install, whether it be residential or commercial or industrial. So you have your EPDM, so that's your rubber membrane roofing. That's usually used for people that need durability or maybe the reflection, but it also is good in like our extreme colds, which is why people use a lot of EPDM here.
Okay.
There's also TPO. So TPO is more used for the reflectivity of the material. It's also very durable. It's not as good in the winter, so sometimes people use it in industrial. You don't see it as much in like residential, but you'll see it a lot in industrial and commercial. There's also 2-ply and 3-ply mod bit systems, so that's rolled roofing. Sometimes you'll see that in, on a mall or a commercial facility or industrial, but you'll also see it a lot in residential. So it's kind of replacing a lot of the EPDM jobs, especially when you're in St. Paul, Minneapolis. Those places are grandfathered in for EPDM or rubber roofing, but you really want to put a 2-ply mod bed system down.
Gotcha. Very cool. So when we're looking at a commercial flat roof, what would you say the typical lifespan of that roofing system would be for somebody?
Yeah, so whether it be EPDM or TPO, I mean, if you get 20 years out of it in Minnesota, you're pretty lucky. So a lot of schools will replace it every 20 years. They're
Okay.
just kind of in a cycle of every 20 years. But really, I mean, it depends on install too. So was it a good install? It might last 20 years with our weather, with all the freeze thaw. But a lot of times you only get 10 or less out of it.
Okay.
So it's a very expensive product. So you really want a good install so it maximizes the length of that product and that install. So you're not doing that expensive project every 10, you're doing it every 20 years.
Yes.
Hopefully.
Exactly. So yeah, something like that. It seems like a simple system, but there's a lot of intricacies I have found, and that's what makes that good install initially so important.
The install is everything. So having good subcontractors, there's usually people don't do it themselves. Everyone's a subcontractor. That's what a lot of people don't understand.
Right.
It's like, do you have your own people? Well, we usually don't because it's too expensive to employ our own people. Plus, it's a tax write-off when you're doing a service like that. But yeah, that's in Minnesota, it's all about the install because if you mess up the install and there's a void in any part of that roof, it can not only get under the roofing system, but it can lead to other leaks. It can cause that freeze thaw to break open other areas and actually leak into the building too.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. I think the weather here is such what makes this type of roofing system so intricate. Because, like you said, we see feet of snow sometimes, and it's a flat roof. Where do you think that's going? Where do you
Yep.
think when the snow thaws? Where do you think that's draining off to? Like, there's so many key little pieces that need to be perfect for that roof to last you as long as you want it to.
And that's a good point too, is a lot of people don't slope their roofs correctly. And so that's just part of that bad install that we see a ton. And so a lot of people there again they think they're getting this same install at a cheaper price. And you shouldn't really be worried about price as much as you should be doing the research on the company that's doing the work for you.
Yes, I love that. That kind of brings me to our next point. So at Millersberg Construction, we do a ton of new flat roofs or flat roof replacements. We also do a ton of repairs. I like to say or feel that we're pretty honest when we evaluate somebody's roof for is this something we can repair? Is this something we can replace? What are you looking for when you go out to those calls to say, oh yeah, we can repair this and get you a couple extra years, or oh, it might be time to to fully replace
Sure.
this?
So if I haven't been out there, ask some fact-finding questions. How many times have you repaired this roof? What kind of roof is it? Is it a ballasted roof where it's harder to find those leaks? And so we have some of those technologies here at Millersberg where we have infrared drones so we can really pinpoint where those leaks are happening, where a lot of these companies are just kind of guessing. And I think that's kind of the difference. If it's just a company guessing and they're your company, you should probably look elsewhere because now we have the technology to find those leaks. And we're not just guessing, and you're not throwing $5,000 here, $10,000 there. And when you should actually maybe even be replacing the roof.
Yes.
So you really want to just see if it, is that roof broke down? Is it over 20 years old? Those are those questions you ask before you're like, okay, we probably should talk about full replacement.
Gotcha. Yeah, that makes sense. So what does that conversation look like with a business owner or a building owner when you have to say, hey, here's why I don't think we should repair this, and here's why I think we should replace?
Yep, and I would just talk about budget first.
Yeah.
Not everyone has the budget to do a full roof. We can offer financing, which is super nice, but there's a lot of people that like him and ha at financing or just taking a loan in general. But I think just finding out where that customer's at, how important it is to protect the stuff on the inside of their building, which usually in an industrial or commercial application is pretty important. So usually the roof cost isn't a big deal because it's protecting multi-million-dollar machinery or anything that might get leaked on. The expense there would be a lot more than just that roof.
Yeah, no, I really appreciate you bringing that up, that we really take the client's needs into consideration as well before we make our recommendations. I think you sometimes have, on both ends of the spectrum, some companies will come in here and they'll repair this thing 7 times for you at 10 grand a repair, and at that point you could have just replaced the whole thing. Or you have some people who come in and they say, nope, we got to fully replace it when this is the first leak they've ever had and it could have been repaired. So I'm glad you brought that up, that we really evaluate both ends of the spectrum. What is the best bang for your buck in this situation? And what does the building owner or business owner want out of that roof? Are they selling it next year and they need it to be updated? Are they keeping it for a while? Yeah, there's so many different needs out of a building.
And just energy efficiency is a lot of those talks too. Is like, a lot of people are green, so they want the TPO versus, or they're putting a lot of things on the roof, so they need that TPO. Or they've had issues with freeze thaw, so they're going to EPDM. So, it's just, asking those fact-finding questions to deduce, what's the best fit for that customer.
Yeah. And then, okay, one thing just came to me that was not originally in our plan for today, but I'd like to actually talk about maintenance. Maintaining these roofing systems, I think, are another way that you can get more life out of them. We have maintenance agreements here at Millersberg Construction. Why do you think maintenance on that type of roofing system is so important, though?
Because that is one of the biggest expenditures on your building. It's also the thing protecting, there again, all the stuff on the inside of your building. So you want to make sure that with all the weird weather that we get here, that these little voids aren't created, because sometimes moisture gets in places and then it expands and it blows something that was very small into something big. So, having that drone technology to infrared it every year for some of those maintenance agreements, those top tier maintenance agreements that we have, versus, just doing a visual inspection for some of those lower agreements that we have. So we have 3 different tiers. And just doing the right thing for that roof, so we extend the life of that roof. That's the key, getting to that 20 years when maybe we could have only got to that 10 years before. And so you just save 10 years of those $7,000 repairs at 10 times that you did that, at $70,000, and you paid $5,000 for that maintenance agreement or whatever that was for a total year. So I think it really just helps cut the cost down. Then it's leak free, it's problem free. You never have to worry. So it's good for the customer that way. They don't have to worry about what's going on, what's going to happen.
Yeah.
They can kind of stick to what they're good at and stick to what we're good at.
Yeah, exactly. I think just even having that set of eyes on there, because the amount of times you ask somebody, oh, when's the last time you looked at their roof? And they're like, when I bought the building 25 years ago, and now they're having problems and they don't even know what the top of the roof looks like, which leads me to one fun question. What is the strangest thing you've ever found on a flat roof?
So I found a dead owl once.
Oh,
it was
fascinating.
Horrible too.
Yeah.
Because owls are such cool creatures.
Yeah.
It literally perished on the roof.
Oh,
But
no.
I've seen bicycle parts from bike companies, all kinds of funny things that people will store stuff up there.
Yes.
And that's there again, usually where it leaks, because that area was weighed down by, metal parts, and all of a
Yes.
sudden it punctures something. And
I'll never forget one of the buildings we did a couple years ago. It got found out that somebody was squatting on the roof. Like somebody was straight up basically living
sure.
on the top of this person's flat. And you don't know. You
Yeah,
don't know
yeah,
what's up there until you
yep,
go up there and
yep.
look. So I had to ask you what the strangest thing you've ever found was.
Yeah, I've seen kids throwing knives at,
Yes.
play,
Yes, yes.
like,
Random thing.
yep,
So many things can end up there.
yep.
Yeah, it's crazy. Any last advice for somebody who has a flat roof and doesn't know where to go from here? If they're like, I kind of got some leaks, I'm not sure what I need to do.
I always say, use the technology that we have now. We didn't have this technology 20 years ago when I kind of started, and it makes the world of difference. So you're not overspending on these repairs that make no sense because they're not even repairing the right spots. But I think just doing the right thing for your building will save you money in the long run.
For sure.
And having those maintenance agreements with people like us, the professionals, the people that actually know what they're doing, not these fly-by-night companies.
Correct.
They're coming by telling you have leaks when you don't have leaks. We get a lot of business because we do the right thing, and we do the right thing for our customers. And I think that's the key.
Yeah, for sure. Well, thank you, Reed, for joining us today. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in to another episode, and we'll see you guys next time.
See you guys. Thank you.